he was right in early on.
Yeah.
About that mechanic.
Well, I didn't like that. Like, so like, it was like you didn't want to use your weapon because if it broke, it was done. Like there was no, you know. And then it was like, okay, here's another stick. I guess I'm going to use this for a little bit. And so once you got the Master Sword, it was decent. But then you'd break it, and then you'd have to sit around and wait on it. And then the thing I didn't like that you had to do these like the temples. They just got super repetitive after a while. The shrines, yeah.
Yeah, the puzzles.
I didn't like them after a while either.
So it was like I missed the like themed, like hard themed dungeons. So it's like, oh, this is the Shadow Temple. Oh, this is the fire one.
The
like
desert one.
Yeah, like I liked that.
Muted, Mike.
No, I was actually just not saying anything.
Oh, you were like clap, and I was like, wait, what? No, not now. Of all the times. Welcome to episode 17, the Old Fashioned Podcast. Last episode was without Mike, but Mike has returned to the fold.
I refuse to acknowledge that episode because it's Tad.
The only reason I brought Paul in is because Paul knew about Dota, and I was interviewing the Dota guy in the entire world. But
fair choice.
Halfway through, no offense, Paul, I realized I didn't need Paul because we were talking on a really base esports like business conversation. But Paul did add a few questions to it.
Would have loved to talk about Rainbow Six Siege. That's all I'm going to say.
Sorry, dude.
It's my own fault.
Yeah. Fuck you for having a job and stuff.
I know. Support.
How dare you provide?
That voice is the voice of Corey Thomas. He is the CEO of High Score Tees. High Score Tees and Rare Drop just entered into a sweet ass partnership. So Corey's making the rounds on all the Rare Drop stuff this week and hanging out with us. If you want to hear him talk about business and whatnot, go listen to Ben's podcast from Thursday. That is up now. If you want to hear a little bit looser conversation, keep listening to this show.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat content.
Right.
It's gross.
That would be lazy.
And who wants to listen about business, right?
Nobody wants to hear three bald men ask you a bunch of questions about business. So. How you doing, bud?
Good. It's early and ready to rock and roll.
This is not
hey. Happy Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day when we're recording this. Yeah.
We celebrated last night. We rented a movie theater and watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was amazing.
That is a phenomenal idea.
Yeah,
you can do that down here.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Like $100, good to go.
Some dude on on Twitter, Sean Murray retweeted him, but his wife rented out a movie theater and he got to play No Man's Sky on the movie theater screen for like 3 hours.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Sean Murray was super stoked on it. He was like, "Look at this."
That's awesome.
Well, and because of COVID, it's way cheaper now because before COVID, you had to pay like an astronomical price to watch like even the older movies versus now if you can rent it out. I think you can have up to 8 people in there, 20 people in there. And
that's a party.
Yeah, that's a good time. $100 between 20 people. That's not bad at all.
Are you allowed to bring like your own food?
I don't think so, but okay. I mean, baggy pants, you know?
Yeah. UFOs. I got you.
I just watched the Seinfeld where Kramer smuggles the coffee in, puts it down his pants, and then spills it. You bringing in those cafe lattes?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the couple in front of us was sneaking in a lot of stuff because they were bulging.
You could hear it. Yeah.
Do they even care right now? They're probably just happy to have people in the movie theater.
Yeah, they're 100% just happy for people to be there. It's in like we had to go, it was an AMC. And so it's in this like all like this super old mall, which was already on the fritz. And then like we walked in there yesterday and like there's like parts of the ceiling that have caved in and like there's like water everywhere and half the restaurants are shut down. And I'm like, man, this got hit bad.
Yeah. Not here. Don't worry. They're still partying at the Bucks one. So I can't wait for
Journeys was still open. So that's all that matters.
You get some sweet kicks. Nice. Nice. Love it. Before we go any further, I got to do the house cleaning with kingscoastcoffee.com. Heartbreak sold out. So if you missed it, but go over to kingscoastcoffee.com and check out all the new stuff that's coming. You can also check out the new Rare Drop score on High Score Tees. I'm not saying this just because Corey's here. I say it for the past few shows I've done. You go to raredrop.co/store, check out the store on High Score Tees, and maybe you want to poke around the rest of the High Score Tees site and see what else is available. And as always, if you'd like to support this show and all the other fun stuff that we do here, you can go to patreon.com/raredrop. The latest thing being Tim playing Hatoful Boyfriend, which is a pigeon dating simulator put out by Devolver. It was one of the weirdest and oddest experiences, and I wanted to actually ask Mike about it. Perfect segue. Do you know anything about this game?
No.
Do you know anything about dating simulators?
Yes.
You've played them.
Hot Daddy or something like that.
Dream Daddy is the one you're
Dream Daddy.
referring to. That is the gay dad dating simulator. Tim said he would have rather played that than the pigeon one.
Really?
The pigeon one was f***ing weird.
Sweet pigeon butt to butt action?
No, it was creepy. Like you played the high school girl pigeon, and every bird had a picture of an anime character that they represented.
So they humanized the birds to the point where they attend school.
Yeah, but they would say things like every birdie that's here instead of everybody or some birdie, and it was rubbing me the wrong way the whole entire time. Tim was doing voices.
Sounds like maximum effort.
There was a creepy school doctor that was offering drugs to Tim's character at one point. It was
what is this called? Waifu pigeons?
Hatoful Boyfriend.
Spell that?
HATOFUL Boyfriend. Devolver made it.
Definitely sounds like the weirdest game possible that you could play.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure there's weirder.
That's true.
Wait.
Is the whole game with real life pigeons?
Yeah. Well, they're not all pigeons. They're different types of birds.
But they're real birds.
Yeah. Like it's just a picture. The doctor or the school nurse one was a partridge. The thick boy.
I'm watching the trailer right now, and it's a picture of a real bird.
Yep.
Not cartoon.
Tim beat the
hilarious.
game because there's like this athletic pigeon. Sorry, spoilers. And basically he offered to go on some sort of drug-infused spirit journey with the one pigeon, and the pigeon was like, "Yeah, let's go," and the game was over. And we were like,
"Hold on, I just saw a pigeon named Blaster and a second pigeon named Stinky Beak."
Those are probably custom because all of the characters in it had like crazy Japanese names.
Okay, so these are like you can make your own
Yeah,
character
like
type
Tim's
thing.
character was Timmy Uwu Thiku. Was his
I'm
full
sorry.
name.
Whoever came up with Stinky Beak is a genius. This is an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam. I'll just let you know. There's a lot of weird people with bird fetishes.
Yeah, people like you.
I mean,
That
I
are
don't know
into
about
weird
bird fetish.
Japanese bird shit. I saw this new Final Fantasy stuff, Mike. Did you want to comment on that before we get into stuff?
I am very excited.
It was
Very
just
excited.
a leak, right?
No, so they had to cancel all fan fests, obviously because of the pandemic. So technically, by this point, we would have 2 fan fests out, 2 fan fests worth of information. So they kind of did an online segment and showed us one new job that's coming out and a bunch of other stuff. More importantly, whatever.
Importantly.
Yeah, right?
Sounds right.
They are finishing everything that has been the story of Final Fantasy XIV up to this point. They are finishing. Final Fantasy XIV, the story arc as it's been known, is done as of 6.0. They're wrapping it up.
And then what?
Brand new, completely new, brand new story coming after it.
Like you can make a new character or?
No, your character will follow through, but it's a completely new story arc.
Oh, okay.
New world and everything too.
Mm-hmm. So the whole Heidelin Zodiac is done. So I don't know if they're going to move away from the same city states we've been going to, or if they're going to bring new ones in. I know they're bringing in new worlds with 6.1, but it's I'm extremely excited because I blazed through 2.x, like skipped every cutscene, and I know true hardcore Final Fantasy fiends would crucify me for it, but I skipped the story just because I wanted to get to current content. Not paid for a skip, but I just blazed through.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Rob is very excited too. So,
Hey, man, he's got fairies now, just like I do. So
he's not even playing WoW. He's playing Cyberpunk now.
I
Remember
think
the
I thought
other
it was
day
back
he's
to
like,
WoW
well, I like
Classic.
Valhalla. And I'm like, probably not. And I don't want to sit here and listen to you shit on the game I'm currently playing. So buy something else. And he was like, I'm going to get Cyberpunk. And now he's like obsessed with Cyberpunk.
what is Valheim? Why do I
Valheim
keep
is
seeing
a
it
Viking
everywhere?
survival game. So think like the Conan or I don't know, what's another survival game? Seven Days to Die, The Forest, all those games. It's just Viking survival. I have no interest in survival games. Conan's the only one I kind of mildly enjoyed, but you could also choose your dong size in that, so it was kind of fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, Cyberpunk too.
Do you play Final Fantasy, Corey?
I don't.
I was actually about to ask you, Corey, what are you playing now? Because I know you're on a Sea of Thieves hiatus, right? Break,
Yeah,
sort of, kind of?
I played Sea of Thieves. I really haven't played much, to be completely honest. I played Sea of Thieves the other day. I actually fired up Gears of War 5.
I beat that. That was fun.
Yeah, I played all those games like when I was younger. I would say like the last game other than Sea of Thieves that I took a deep dive into would have been like Zelda Breath of the Wild, because those are like any of the Zelda games are my like go-to video game play. That and like Super Smash Brothers. So I was always a Nintendo kid.
So you don't play anything that's like game of service or anything? Well, I guess Sea of Thieves would be considered that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually played that Friday. So the high score team, like I was like, hey, we've had a long week. Everyone kind of has that game. So we played a little bit of it. But, you know, we saw like nobody on the seas. And so we just kind of sailed around, did like one of the storyline quests and then called it a day.
Wait, you didn't see anybody?
Mm-mm. Like the whole, like, so it's weird. Like if you play on like a Friday night, I feel like you run into like a lot of people, but some days you'll play and like you won't see anybody like the whole time and you just like sail around. So it's
Is that like a monotonous experience?
well, if you're going out to like go and find people to kind of, you know, test your skills or mess with them or steal their stuff, then it's frustrating to just sail around and never find anyone. But I mean, they have like the arena mode if you want to do like pure PvP. But
okay.
Yeah, so I just like the adventure mode because I just like to kind of, you know, natural organic experiences and kind of run into people randomly. But I haven't played so when the game first came out, I played all the time, like every night would fire it up.
Yeah, that was a rager. A lot of people.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then it just kind of, I don't know. I feel like the game's in a weird place because I know that they just opened up like their version of like a battle pass season. I haven't really dove into it much, but I also played on Xbox for the longest time and I finally got a PC. So I'm like trying to learn to do mouse and keyboard and everything. And it's just like, it's like if I ever run into anybody, I'm like, all right, let me get the controller so I can actually be competent.
I'm not losing this shit.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's, you know, it's weird because between all the stuff that we're working on and then, you know, trying to see my family as much as possible, video games have kind of gotten the shaft on everything, but I still stay up to date on everything. So I was going to play Cyberpunk, but it didn't have the best reviews. So I kind of,
I've had like a few glitches, but nothing outside of the realm that I wouldn't get in a new Bethesda game. So
Yeah.
I've been fine with the 20 something hours, but I've now turned all of my attention to Valhalla because the game's just so damn big. And I'm like, I need to stop piecemealing it and just, that's what I need to play when I have time.
Yeah.
So yeah, my son was playing, Minecraft Dungeons yesterday with Rob's kid. Rob's one of the old hosts from the old show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I you know, I don't like to play Valhalla in front of the children because I'm like decapitating people and you know. So they were playing, so I got like 2 hours yesterday to dive in.
Nice.
My understanding with Cyberpunk was the PC version ran pretty well if you had decent if you had pretty good hardware. You were okay.
I mean, even next gen looks good. It's not gorgeous, like crazy on point PC, but on a 4K TV, I've never sat there and been like, this looks like shit, you know?
So what was the major complaint with the consoles?
Previous gen was horrible and
looked
did
really
not,
bad.
did not deliver at all. Also, the
Okay,
Xbox
okay.
One S does not deliver the same experience. No, Series S does not deliver the same experience as the Series X. Okay. There are hardware differences. They're slight, but for Cyberpunk, it makes a big difference.
Got ya.
The other game I played a lot recently, or not recently, but in the recent past was the God of War, the one where he's in the Viking kind of lore.
That game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I think they're coming out with a second one, right?
This year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was a trip. I that was one of my best experiences on Mixer, like the ones I can count on one hand. But that was one of the best experiences I had while streaming there. Because that was when the platform was hopeful, and they were like, we're going to push all games. And they did a full God of War takeover, and I was front page for like 5 days straight for 12 hours every day playing that game. And, I was like, it's amazing what happens when you actually push your broadcasters that you're invested in. Wow, that's weird.
I was recovering from knee surgery, and so I couldn't move. I couldn't go anywhere. And so I fired that up and played right through it.
Play video games. That's it. Mike never beats games. He starts them and never beats them.
That's me 90% of the time.
Frustrating. All right, so you're in good company then.
Yeah,
I still have to complete it. My brother blitzed. He like a couple days. He's like, it was the most amazing thing in the world.
If I hadn't like literally couldn't do anything, I probably wouldn't have finished it. But like in that time span is when I beat Breath of the Wild. I beat God of War. I think there was a third game that I played too.
My God, you went ham.
Yeah,
I couldn't finish Breath of the Wild. I just did not like the way the game worked.
I didn't like the way the game worked. I thought it was ambitious, like transforming it to an open world type scenario, but like it didn't. It's one like so like when I played Ocarina of Time, like I played it over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Versus Breath of the Wild, I kind of was like I got through it, and then I got like the luchador outfit, and then I was like, all right, I'm good.
So probably the most contentious thing about Breath of the Wild was the weapon system.
Weapon system.
How did you feel about that?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I feel like Rob was an avid hater of it.
Yeah,
and I didn't mind it at first because there was tons of shit laying around. Right. And then as I played further in the game, I was like, it's not as good, and there's not.
It felt like my investment into the game wasn't worthwhile because the thing that I invested in was just going to break at some point.
Right. And as you played on, I kind of so, and I'm sure if Rob was here, he would say, yeah, I know I'm always right. But he was right early on.
Yeah.
About that mechanic.
Well, I didn't like that. Like, so like, it was like, you didn't want to use your weapon because if it broke, it was done. Like there was no, know, and then it was like, okay, here's another stick. I guess I'm going to use this for a little bit. And so once you got the Master Sword, it was decent, but then, you'd break it and then you'd have to sit around and wait on it. And then the thing, I didn't like that you had to do these, like the temples. They just got super repetitive after a while. The shrines, yeah.
Yeah, the puzzles.
I didn't like them after a while either.
So it was like I missed the like themed, like hard themed dungeons. So it's like, oh, this is the Shadow Temple. Oh, this is the fire one.
The desert one.
Yeah, like I liked that, and I liked kind of the story order versus like it was almost like it was kind of, to me, it was hindered because there was almost like too much freedom to where it was like, okay, because I feel like there was one of I don't remember which one because it's been a while, but there was one of the temples that like if you had gotten one of the power-ups from another one, it would like there was an order to where it would make it quote unquote like more manageable versus like if you didn't go in the right order, it's like some things were just like nearly impossible to do. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like there was one of the power-ups that you needed before going to the water area, and if you had it, it helped like tremendously, but I don't remember
it.
Mike,
there was a couple parts where I would bring up like a YouTube video and watch for those shrines, how to get through. I towards the end of my play session of that, I just same deal. I started getting fed up to the point where I was like, I just really don't feel like trying to figure these puzzles out.
Yeah.
I just want to get through it.
So Ocarina is your favorite, Corey. What, Mike? What's your favorite one?
Yeah, Ocarina.
See, mine's Link to the Past. That one is just
really.
I think that is the most perfect video game ever. And if they adapted a remake of that,
they did a remake of it.
No, I mean like Final Fantasy VII style, third person over, from behind, like looking like Breath of the Wild without the cell shading.
Gotcha.
Make it an actual RPG. People would I feel like so many people would hate it, but man, I would jump at that.
How did you feel about Majora's Mask?
I liked Majora's Mask. It was hard. It's the hardest one in my opinion.
It is.
Because it took me the longest to like get through. But I liked the idea of it. I liked the concept of it. I didn't like the clock thing, like the 3 days.
Yeah.
That would get kind of annoying after a while. But I thought that's one that I feel like they could like kind of tune up and redo. But I liked going through the different masks and getting to play as the different characters and races and stuff like that. I actually really liked Twilight Princess. That's probably my second favorite one. Which I know is some people
after
like
the
it.
Wii one. Which was the Wii one?
So Skyward Sword.
That was the last one I played up until Breath of the Wild. I didn't play anything, and I never played any like Game Boy or any of those games either, or DS ones.
I played a handful of them. I went back and played a lot of them after they had come out. So like I kind of stopped after Majora's Mask, and then I played Wind Waker because my best friend that I grew up with, he was obsessed with that game. So I played it with him, and then when Twilight Princess came out, like. It's funny because like I every like Nintendo console I bought it because like a Zelda game was coming out. So like I bought the Wii because a Zelda game was coming out. I bought the Switch because Breath of the Wild was coming out. I bought all those games because I just wanted to play the new Zelda game.
That's like me with PlayStations.
Yeah.
Buy PlayStations because From Software stuff comes out on that.
Right.
I need you to play Ghost of Tsushima, bud. I really do.
I own it. I have to, install
I fired it up on PS5 just to see, and oh my God, on my telephone. I know it's upscaled 4K and it's not real, but I don't really care. We talked about it a few weeks ago, Corey, but I said, out of all the games that came out on PS4 that they brought to PS5 that you could tell like these games were made for next gen, not necessarily the last one.
Yeah.
Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima were the two that I played. I can't emotionally handle playing The Last of Us again. Maybe like 5-10 years down the road I will, because I told the story. I finished it on stream. I was like, all right, good night. Everyone have a good one. I turned off the stream. I walked out. I poured a glass of scotch, and my wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I just went outside in the back, and I was like, "Yeah, I just finished The Last of Us, and I'll be okay." But Ghost of Tsushima was my game of the year last year. That game was phenomenal, flawless. There was nothing wrong with it. And then I fired it up on my TV in the living room, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is heaven. This is it." So I'll probably go right now. My queue is this: I want to finish Valhalla. I want to play Cyberpunk. I've never played Dragon Age Inquisition, so I want to play that.
Oh, my wife
I've never
loves
played
that game.
Shadow of War,
Dragon
so I
Age.
want to play that. I beat Mordor. I want to play War now. And then from there, I'm thinking about seeing if I have time to play through the Arkham series again before Gotham Knights comes out. Which, Mike, we need to coordinate on that, sir.
I'm down.
But can we do console? If I don't know if it's crossplay.
Do you have a Sam's Club membership that I can jump on?
Yeah, corporate.
All right. Well, then it's Sam's Club is the way to get the PS5.
You
so I'm
fuckers
there.
make fun of me for getting my PS5 from Sam's Club, but who's the
I don't
only one that
necessarily
has
make
this
fun of you.
PS5 right now?
It's not you. I think Tim when I say it.
Tim told me. He said, "Get it at Sam's Club."
Every tweet that I saw not complaining, but every tweet that I saw about it was from him in reference to Sam's Club. Does he know how much we fucking give him shit on here?
Tim?
Yeah.
I hope so. I've been telling him about it at the gym. I told him about the Wayne thing. He said he started the episode and didn't hear it yet last time I spoke to him about it.
Awesome.
Poor
Tim.
Tim.
Tim is very into his fitness, Corey, and all that stuff. So Wayne from King's Coast was on like 2 or 3 episodes ago and called Tim a fat piece of shit and told him to get good and work out more.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And then they had it out in the coffee chat. It was hilarious. Tim was
So
like,
good.
Isn't there some sort of dock worker barista person you need to go whack off or something?"
Tell
Wayne's
Tim to
like,
get
"I've
back
been
to
up since-"
packaging up those beans.
Tim,
Fair.
to the Facebook people, Tim roasts sits there and roasts them by hand, in his downtime.
Right.
And then packages them out and sweats on them and sends them out.
I guess Tim will start having to get up at 4 instead of 4:30.
He's got to kiss every bag before it goes out.
Yes. Mike, what did you think about Warner Brothers patenting the Nemesis system from Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor.
I've seen the arguments like I don't want to say who I saw this from, but if you know, then you know. They made the argument that this is another step in the direction where video games aren't viewed as art, they're viewed as something else.
What is this?
So Warner Brothers patented their Nemesis system. Have you played the Lord of the Rings games from them?
Oh yeah.
So they patented the Nemesis system, which I believe really was it in the first one?
Yes, but they refined it in the second one. I haven't played the second one yet, but it was in the first
it got developed. So I played a little bit of the second one, and it really kind of it came into its own with the second game.
Is this like
from
with
how I understand
Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah, where basically the Nemesis system is the system that has the enemies remember you.
Yeah.
And they act, talk, and fight based on everything that you did with them before.
Right.
So let's say you stab an orc in the eye, and he loses his eye. He'll come back. You know, let's say he lives through the fight. He'll come because they can run away.
Yep.
He'll come back with like the patch or the metal thing over his eye and be like, "You took my eye," and then you won't be able to get that move in.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's the system.
While I think that it could be incorporated into other games and it could be incorporated really well, it'd be really cool. People, I think, again, are failing to recognize this as a business. And really, what does Warner Brothers have that sets them apart gaming-wise?
Nothing.
I mean, right. So if this is what you have going for you and you developed this or you paid for it to be developed, it's kind of how I feel like about first-party exclusives. If you're paying for this thing that sets you apart from everybody else in the crowd, I mean, I kind of get it. I don't think it's as egregious as Activision patenting that algorithm that fucks you in the end because you didn't buy this fucking microtransaction weapon that cost $35. You know what I mean? Like you lose to this guy who has this gun. Then all of a sudden the store shows you the gun discounted for $35. Like that's way worse to me than this.
I mean, yeah, that's predatory. This is literally a game system. You can't really get mad at them for its technology.
But people are really, really, really upset about it.
I mean, people complain about everything, so it's no surprise to
me.
Wait,
what are they mad about?
They're mad that they're not leaving it open source for other devs to use the same exact technology. Now, someone broke down the verbiage, and there's plenty of ways to tweak it and use it on your own without, doing exactly what they do. They're just basically saying the exact way they did it, no one else is allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So they can take other IPs and do the same thing. I don't see anything wrong with that personally.
Me neither. No. Like I said, this is another point where I guess people are like overly passionate and you're just not seeing it for what it is. It's a business. At the end of the day, It is a business. Salaries need to be paid. And I mean, there's overhead. Like, this is something that's going to sell their games.
Yep. Because now they can say, featuring the Nemesis system and things like that.
Only here.
Right.
Only on Warner Brothers games.
Exactly.
I'm curious if they're going to adapt it too for more Lord of the Rings games as Lord of the Rings comes back into our frame of reference when it comes to the new Amazon show.
I was about to say they're probably going to expand on it. Like, otherwise, why would you hold on to that?
Could you imagine if they implemented that into the Lord of the Rings MMO?
They can't. It's Amazon.
I know, but I'm saying.
Imagine.
Could you imagine?
It won't. It's Amazon.
Speaking of which,
I've seen New World is having mega issues behind the scenes. By the way,
I was just going to bring up Amazon Game Studio. Yeah. It's not looking good.
Nope.
No. I saw people playing the beta or whatever, the test run of it, and it looked cool.
We played it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun. But Amazon Game Studios as a studio is not doing well, and they're the ones. So New World is basically supposed to be the beta test for the Lord of the Rings MMO.
Yeah.
But now things aren't looking so hot. Lord of the Rings Online, though, Mike, is supposedly Daybreak's not earnings report, basically their investor deck leaked, and they want to bump up all the graphics and change a lot of the stuff, and there's talk in there about bringing it to console, which I thought was very interesting.
That's the way they should do it.
So we'll see what happens with Lord of the Rings Online too.
Their player base will boom overnight.
Right, especially if they're ready by the time the Amazon show goes live. You can.
That would be. I'll jump into that at that point.
People have wanted SWTOR on console for years. I would play it and stream it, and people would be like, "Is this on console? Is this on console?" So
why not?
I don't know. We'll see. I would love for SWTOR to get some love. It's the only thing in the Star Wars universe that is still sold and marketed that is not part of Disney canon.
Are you a Star Wars guy, Corey?
No. I've designed stuff for Star Wars, but
no.
I try to keep
What did you
up.
design for Star Wars?
I've designed a handful of shirts. I did some stuff for The Mandalorian. I did some stuff for the older movies, the new movies when they kind of came out. It's like a wide range of stuff. I can find a few of them and send them to you.
Yes.
I was more like, I guess my fandom has always been into more of like horror movies. And then I also liked like the Marvel stuff. But horror movies is like my like.
Mike loves horror movies.
I just watched Leprechaun the other day.
You
Told my
would.
wife about it. I was like, so bad, but I still have to watch them all.
Yeah,
Does Allie like horror movies too? Mike?
What?
Does Allie like horror movies too?
No.
You just watch them alone?
No. I've been trying to get her to watch the new It was on HBO or something. I was like, oh, let's watch it. She's like,
Does your wife like them, Corey?
Yeah, my wife likes them probably more than I do.
Oh. Okay.
Which is perfect. Yeah.
I hate horror movies. Can't do it.
I like them. It's just like, I like the older ones because I feel like new horror movies, like nobody can end a new horror movie.
yeah, it seems really repetitive now.
Yep.
You're either remaking something old or it's just some supernatural thing.
Yep. Well, and then it's like, so like my best example is like Sinister. The first 45 minutes of Sinister is like edge of your seat, just like what in the world is going on? And then, you know, the guy comes out and you're like, oh boy, who is this? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, you lost me. And then it ends and you just leave and you're like, ugh, okay. But yeah, it's like, but then like I even like some of the weirder ones. Like, have you seen Midsummer?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that one's a trip.
What was the one Rob just said he watched? It was like a horror thriller. He said was really good, but it was semi-obscure. We haven't seen it or heard about
I
it.
think it was Sinister.
No.
One of the
He
best.
loves Sinister.
One, I like more of the like thriller ones, and so there's one. It was on Netflix for a long time. It was called The Guest, and it's really good. So it's more.
Was that it?
It's more of a thriller, but it's not so much like horror, but it's got like, you know, some super soldier type stuff in it.
That might have. Did you watch the House on Haunted Hill series on Netflix?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I liked the first one. I didn't finish the second one. It just kind of dragged on for me.
It's kind of what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
I still have yet to watch it.
Yeah, it's the first one was good. But yeah, the second one I don't know. It's like my time is like so precious that like in order to get into like a show or a series or anything like that, or like a movie,
Yeah.
I like will like make a determination like within the first like 30 minutes. And if it like doesn't grab me right there,
Awful.
I'm out.
Or you just have to go through knee surgery again.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that too. I mean, technically, you could probably work still during recovery, right, Corey?
Yeah, last time. So like I was in a recliner for 2 months, like couldn't walk anything because I just destroyed my knee. So we bought this table and it had wheels on it. We put the computer on it. So we would roll it over the recliner. I would work all day and then we would just roll it off to the side. And then I'd basically watch movies and play video games.
You should get that for Rob for Christmas, Mike.
Oh my God. He would never get up.
It
He'd
was
wheel that shit in the bathroom when he's going to taking a dump.
That's such a good idea, though. I love it.
Well, I mean, it was one of those things where like I you know, like hands were fine and I was freelancing, so I couldn't not work because it was basically if I didn't work, there was no money coming in. So, and this was before, you know, we had our son. So it was just basically like just a fest of eating terrible food, working, and playing video games and movies. And that's what we did for 3 months. It was so bad.
Dream.
The dream. Yeah. Then when you start trying to walk again, you're like, whoa, there's an extra 30 pounds here. Where did that come from?
Oh no, dude, I just started running again and my knees kill. I get on the scale and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a pain.
So I after that, 2019, I spent the whole year losing all that weight and was just on such a good course going into 2020. I was like, this is the year. I'm healthy. Everything's going well. Business is booming. And then boom, COVID.
Boom.
I'm like, oh, start all over.
Yeah. Still waiting to press that reset button.
Yep.
I have to stretch more than I ever have now. I realize that. And when I was like
we're all
25,
really into yoga.
I would go to the gym, just pump it out, and leave. Didn't really stretch, didn't really do it. Now it's like if I don't stretch, I'm going to be in big trouble later. So
Do the weird
I don't
walk
know.
when you wake
Yoga
up.
Fitness.
I take Advil after the gym sometimes. It's a whole new experience. I keep saying to Danielle, Mike, it's like Kelly on the weight loss episode when she's got all the makeup streaming down her face and she's sweating in her hair and she's like, I'm gonna look
tapeworm.
amazing. That's how I feel. I started watching Carnival Row on Prime.
Is that any good?
So
Amazon?
I pegged that show completely wrong. I thought it was like some Carney style show. It is not. It is a fantasy steampunk world.
Yep.
It looks dark.
It is, and I think you would like it. So I think you should give it a try. Allie would probably be into it because Danielle is now she does. I try and watch something on my own, and she does what I call hijack my shows. So she'll come sit next to me 10 minutes in, and she'll be, "Oh, this is good. What is this show?" And then and she's like, "Don't start another episode without me." And I'm like, "This is my show. You have your shows. This one is mine." So now I have to wait for her to watch episode 3. We have to finish Vikings. She gets to watch Bridgerton, Real Housewives of wherever the and it's
Damn you. Now you're adding more shit to my list.
right now. But now when I have time, I can't watch something because I'm at the point too where it used to be I have time. Let me play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Now by 9:30, if I haven't turned the game on by 8, I'm not playing. I'm gonna lay in bed and watch something because I just can't. I just want to lay down and not deal with anything. So now if I have that time, I now have to find another new show to watch because even when I was watching Dark Side of the Ring, the Vice wrestling documentaries,
Oh yeah.
she started it towards the end of season 2. She's like, "Oh, what's the next one?" I'm like, "You don't even know who these people are." Did you watch
Just
those,
don't
Corey?
start anything new.
I'm watching, attempting to watch WandaVision right now.
You didn't watch Dark Side of the Ring though?
No, I haven't watched it. I've read about it. So I'm obsessed with documentaries. I love watching documentaries. My wife does not like watching them because
Stupid.
not that she. She's sitting right here. Not that it's just basically with shitty times the past X amount of years. It was I don't want to watch a sad documentary. So it was more along the lines of that. But
The Owen Hart one made my wife cry.
yeah, that one would probably make me cry.
I learned things I did not know and how negligent they were, and
It was
that
bad.
It upset me. I was upset, and then I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm going to bed and I'm gonna have nightmares about people falling." So
Right?
that one was a rough one. I also finished the QAnon documentary on Vice last
boy.
weekend.
Oh, dear Lord.
Because Pete dropped it into our chat, Mike, the first episode, and then Danielle
And you were hooked.
took the kids to her parents, and I was home alone, and I was like, "Oh, I should finish that QAnon." I watched one episode, and I was like, "I hope there's more." And I go to Hulu, and I'm like, "Yes, all 3
Oh
episodes."
my
No.
I think to this day, still one of the heavier, No Miss, phenomenal.
What?
But No Miss,
What's that?
it's the Eagles of Death Metal documentary.
Oh, yeah.
I
Dude.
feel like I started that and didn't finish it, and I don't know why.
It's heavy. It's sad. It's heavy, but it's really good. Really good. If you haven't seen it, it's worth at least one watch.
The last documentary we watched was the one about it was that cult. What was it called?
Wild Country, that one?
No, not Wild Wild Country. That one's good too.
That one was crazy.
I need to watch that.
This is the one where they're based out of Albany, New York. Nexium.
I don't know the name of them.
Oh, I saw that was on like Showtime or something, right?
Yeah, it's on HBO.
We didn't finish it.
Yeah, we didn't finish it because that was another one where it was like stretched out to 8 episodes, but like it was like for an entire episode, it'd start off with a question and then like it took an hour to answer it, and it was like we could have done this in like I don't have that much time. Like, come on, like let's go get to the point.
The Heaven's Gate one is on HBO too.
Yeah.
I watched 2 episodes of that. That guy has crazy eyes, and it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. I feel like documentaries, like, and too, like this is like is more like the ones I want to watch are like the ones that are like not so much like heavy, but just like, wait, this is real. So like, have you ever heard of the one called Tickled?
No.
It's this whole like, you got to watch the trailer on it, but it's basically this documentary about this whole like underground scene of like basically these like, you know, athletic guys are, you know, getting tricked into doing these like weird tickle fetish videos. And then like,
I
need to see this.
What? And then like, there's like but it's like the weird thing is that like after a while, it's like, they're like, whoever's making the videos is like blackmailing them.
Oh, I'm so interested in whatever this is. Send me more information.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO. So
It looks like it's on Hulu right now.
Yeah.
A journalist intends to document an international tickling competition for kicks.
Yes.
Instead, he finds bizarre and even threatening world created by a bully with deep pockets.
I love this. It's on Hulu, you said?
I'm seeing it on Hulu right now. Of course, the cover is a feather.
Yeah.
This is a must watch.
Yeah. And like the guy who's like trying to
the
guy who's trying to report on it, like they like lay into him and are basically like, we don't want you around. And he's like from New Zealand or something. It's just like, it's like, oh boy.
That's like the.
Oh, it says right here. 2 filmmakers have barely begun their reporting for this documentary when the threats from the private world of tickling began.
Yeah.
Didn't Howard Stern used to have a guy on that was like a professional tickler? Is he involved in that? Yaki. Remember Yaki?
Dude, who knew tickling was so dark?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it really shock you that much?
Yes.
Doesn't shock me.
Well, and it's like they like go to this warehouse and it's like in the middle of nowhere and they're like going to film this stuff. It's really, really intriguing. So I feel like, yeah, it's more of like I like there's another one on Amazon and it's basically like this guy was in a plane crash and he survived, but his leg had to be amputated. So he preserves his leg, like has it like the amputated leg, he preserves it and he puts it in a box or something in this like storage unit. Well, he doesn't pay for the storage unit. And so it ends up getting
goes to auction.
Yes. And so this guy buys the storage unit and he's like, he has his leg. And so then he's like, hey man, that's my leg. Can I have it back? And he's like, no, it's mine. I bought it. And it's this whole documentary about this guy trying to get his leg back. it's super.
No, bro, it's mine.
Yeah.
Now.
Like I bought it. It was in here. It's like, yeah, but it's my leg. He's like, you know, then it's like, wait, why do you even have this? Like, it's so, yeah, it's so like, so anything that's kind of like a bizarre twist on things, those are like my like kind of go-to documentaries versus like something that's like heavy.
Yeah. I've been watching the Manhunts on Netflix again. The Atlanta Olympics and Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah.
I really like the way they did those. Like they were
I haven't watched
almost
those.
like they filmed them with actors, so it was almost like you're watching a show,
Yeah.
but it was just a reenactment of basically a documentary.
Right.
It was pretty good. The flip side of that, do you watch stand-up comedians at all?
I used to, not so much anymore. I listen to a lot of them.
So Netflix has The Degenerates.
I haven't seen that.
It's just like each episode is a new comedian and they go on. Season 2, Jim Norton's on it.
Oh, nice.
I fucking love Jim.
Good old Jim Norton.
And he's so good, dude. I mean, he was good back on Opie and Anthony, but regardless, he has this amazing point where comedians will get shit on for their takes and this and that, yet Netflix will have series after series after series glorifying serial killers, and everybody eats it up and nobody says a fucking word about it. Valid point.
Do you remember on Opie and Anthony when the guy admitted to murder the caller?
I don't.
I was driving to band practice from work in the city. I was driving out to it is a drive and then rush hour. And this caller, they kept him on, literally admitted to working for the mob at one point and killing somebody while they were live on the air.
Only that show.
Yeah. And then they had cops and detectives calling in. Like, it was...
Wow.
I couldn't get out of the car. I was sitting at my guitarist's house where we practiced in the basement. I'm just sitting there in the car like... And they're coming out like, are you coming in? No. You can come sit in the car with me and smoke cigarettes, but this is a whole other level of entertainment right now.
I feel like
They were nuts, dude.
Yeah, I was super into true crime. And then when we had our son, I was like, I can't listen to these anymore. It's like,
That's my wife did the same thing.
yeah, it's a little too close to home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Speaking of comedians, Mike, I just showed Danielle the machine bit from Bert Kreischer.
She's never seen that before?
It was like probably like 4 or 5 weeks ago I showed her.
Dude, that's because I remember when you first moved into your new house when we were up, or down, rather, and we went over the Crystalia skit for the drunk girls. That's hilarious,
Yeah, I
dude.
just showed
She's
it.
just seeing
She almost
it.
spit her Chipotle out. Like, and he's like, I am the machine.
That rocketed him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
where
that
he is.
story, it's... I love how he even begins the stand-up like, don't worry, I'll tell the machine story. Like, that's the beginning.
Kind of feel bad for guys like that because I don't want to say that they're... I mean, you're
He's not,
pigeonholed, but
though.
it sucks.
I
What's up?
enjoy his comedy about his children more than I enjoy the machine bit. Because
and he's
of I'm a
branched
Dad.
out across everything. He's got his own Netflix show. He's branched out. Like, and he's got, what, 2 or 3 podcasts now, all wildly successful.
The period party bit.
Oh,
Yeah, but
they named it. What did they name it?
it's damn it. I forget, but I immediately thought of my oldest daughter, and I was like,
She named it something clever. It was hilarious.
Or when they were sticking their fingers in the dog's butthole. He's like, that's disgusting. Come here, you got to show your mother.
Did you ever see her, like, his Instagram and his poor wife's walking around?
Yes.
I feel so bad for her.
I mean, when you marry a comedian, I feel like you understand the journey you're about to undertake.
Oh, I'm sure. She knows exactly what she got herself into.
They can't be completely absolved of
Just seems like such a kind soul.
well, that's usually who they have to be. Look at Jim Gaffigan's wife. The shit she puts up with him and the kids. His favorite thing with his kids is that he ends one of his things talking about how they took a family trip to Mount Rushmore and how it took them so long to get there and this, that, and the other thing. And they get there. He's like, we're here. This is great. He's looking at the kids. The kids are looking back at him and they're looking up at Mount Rushmore and they're looking. And one kid looks at him and goes, so does it like blink or something, Dad?
my favorite bit from him was from a while ago where he's like, so we're going to go on vacation and we're going to get breakfast and then we're going to go and get some snacks. And then by that time, it'll probably be, time for pre-lunch. And then we'll get some lunch after that. And then after that, we'll go right into dinner and then we'll go to sleep and do it again. And I'm like, yep, that's vacation for me.
It's so true, though.
Oh, what a vision of health.
Right.
His bit on not wanting to be at his daughter's wedding too is phenomenal.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I need to.
Yeah, he talks because he's like sitting on the couch eating a pint of ice cream. And his wife's like, are you going to finish that? And he goes, I hope so. She's like, don't you want to be alive for your daughter's wedding? No. Why not? It's a really expensive, terrible party that I have to pay for. Then he goes into a bit about weddings and how the best is when he does the invitation and he's like, if they're always like old English, like with weird text, and it's like, the Honorable Kingslayer invites you to the wedding of his eldest daughter. and her living boyfriend of 7 years.
Or living.
Oh man, Corey, tell us. You've had a crazy journey when it comes to your job in design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us like some of the more interesting things that you've gotten to do, and if you have any cool or weird stories that Mike and I can comment on. You worked in New York City for a while. You've done music. You've done sports. You've done movies, entertainment.
I feel like I've talked about a lot of the cool things I've done. Here's my favorite story on learning, like, because a lot of the time you have to explain and kind of educate your client, because if they're not from if they're not a Warner or a Disney, which they have an art department, they understand what you're talking about. But when you get random Joe Schmo who's like, hey, I want a t-shirt and I can afford this. So this one time I was doing it was an illustration for a race, like a marathon. So the guy wanted a skeleton because it was like, there was like something with archaeology. And so he wanted a skeleton and like saying something like running through history or something like that. And it was going to have like the skeleton running through, like looking like it was coming towards you on the front, busting through the shirt. And then there was like a ribbon across the front of it. So I did this whole illustration. We went through the sketches, went through everything. And I get to the end and he's like, this is really cool. What do you think about on the back, having the back of the skeleton so it looks like it went through the shirt? And I'm like, cool, that'll be I can do that, but you'll have to pay an extra design fee because I have to draw the back of it. He goes with the utmost confidence, goes, nah, just flip it around. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's how anatomy works.
What do you mean? What do you mean flip it around? He's like, when you turn that design around, you'll see the back of it. Slap that on the back of the shirt, and I'm like, that's not how this works. It's not like a 3D thing. Like I drew the front of it, now I have to draw the back of it. And he goes, nah, my cousin does this all the time. Like we can just flip it around. I don't need to pay an extra fee. And so I said, look, he had already paid for it at that point. So I was like, I'm going to give you the file and I'm going to give you all weekend. If your cousin can flip this around, I'll refund you your money. So Monday he comes back and he goes, we're just going to leave the back blank.
So they spend the whole weekend flipping it around and not figuring out how that works?
Probably.
If his cousin does it all the time, why didn't his cousin do it to begin with?
Exactly.
A 2D flat image.
Oh, the stories of my buddy and my friend. My buddy and my friend, they do everything. Oh, my buddy did this.
Sure.
My friend, where'd your logo come from? My buddy did it. Can I get in touch with them? Nah, he's, most of the time you find out he's in the Philippines and he's, on vacation. It's like, oh,
okay. Yeah, he just got drafted into the military. Sorry, he'd be unable to speak with you about this logo.
Right. So a lot of times we can kind of like pry into like, well, where'd you get this? Well, where's the high res? Well, why can't we get that file? Yeah. And then eventually it's just like, I sometimes I just wish people would be like upfront, be like, I got this off Google. I need a new one. Perfect. We can do that.
Right.
So yeah, that like stuff like that, like, kind of happens often, or, someone will, the thing that cracks me up too is like I know this world, I've done it for a very long time. And so then when people kind of tell me how to do something, it's like, okay. So a lot of the times what I like to do is just to like say like, okay, here you go. Like if you actually think that this is how this is done, then you do it. And then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, I gotta liken it, your world probably a lot to a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. Oh, and
you get to a point.
That's the other question I get all the time is like, can you draw my tattoo? And it's like, I could, but then you're going to give it to a tattoo artist and they're going to draw it.
Exactly.
Like, let them do it. So
that will boggle my mind till the day I die, why you don't want the person that's actually going to do the tattoo to draw the tattoo itself. So you trust them to take a needle with ink to your skin that will be... Basically, you won't be able to change it, and you can, but you know what I mean?
Right.
But you want someone else to draw the drawing not the guy that has the needle to your skin.
Right.
Got it.
I think the other thing that blows my mind too is the amount of people who think that like doing art is free.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like I constantly get the like, well, you do this for fun, right? And it's like, no. I mean, I enjoy my job, but it's still a job. You know, I use like, this is how I, you know, feed my family and pay for bills. Or the like, I'll pay you an exposure.
Ah, that's a classic.
Fuck that. We call that exposure bucks.
Exposure bucks.
That's
Fuck that.
I don't get those as much anymore, but I used to get those a lot. And then like a lot of times I'll like show people stuff and they're like, I'll show them a design for Disney and they'll be like, man, this is so cool. Can you imagine if Disney like sold this? And I'm like, it's not very hard because they're doing it right now. And then they'll be like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, this like go to your local Target, like you can get this. And they're like, okay, buddy. And I'm like, this is what I was hired to do. Like, I don't, what do you, okay? Like, you know?
Yeah, no, that's bull. I mean, everything you do is time, especially when you know you own. Kevin knows when you own your own company or you work within your own partnerships.
Yeah.
Your time is money.
Yep.
Every minute that you're not investing into your company, it's money lost.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. And
There was a
Fucking, you
there was
do
a
this for
comic.
fun. Do it for free.
There was a comic years ago that said, you know, something about exposure bucks, and then the artist replied like, "Do you know how much a carton of orange juice costs in exposure bucks as compared to dollars? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to figure this all out."
The conversion rate.
right. Or then, you know, like we'll get people, you know, and two, like we've encountered this more in like the streaming spaces where you have to kind of explain why branding is important. And, you know, we typically will tell people like, all right, when you go to the store, if you see this like really bad, gaudy designed label versus this really nice designed label, which one do you pick? And it's, you know, you're going to typically pick the one that looks better because it looks more professional. And if you don't know the product, you're going to go, well, this one looks like it'll probably do a better job. And
Yeah, you don't necessarily want death metal writing as your logo.
right, exactly. And so it's just like, you know, kind of explaining, you know, this is why you need branding. This is why you need merch. This is why this. So, because like in the music industry, it was like they were coming to us because it was just like you go on tour, you have merch, you have a web store, you have merch. Versus with like streamers, you know, a handful of them have this experience of putting their logo on a t-shirt and then saying like, well, merch doesn't sell. And it's like, well, you don't have merch. If you had merch, if you had nice designs, then, you know, we could probably get somewhere and, you know, get some traction going and expand on your brand. And so that's
Now, do you encompass horizontally like a lot, not just are you guys doing full graphic design packages with merch and giving the files for web development as well?
So with High Score, we just do merch. Like it's specifically like merch design. But with Monster Lagoon, which is my other company, that's where we do the full branding package. So
you're able to offer that across the board.
So Monster Lagoon is
That's
basically
awesome.
you pay for branding. High Score, you don't pay for it. That's our system is we sign you on. And then, you know, as essentially the idea is like, we're investing in you. And so as you make sales, we generate profit and then we pay you for, you know, because it's your brand.
Sweet.
So it's two different models. So a lot of people will come to us at High Score and they won't have branding. And so we'd say like, well, go over to this company because that's where we do all of that. So, because ideally, like with High Score,
Legit.
you shouldn't go to a merch company to get your logo. Like that's not
Right.
That's kind of working backwards. So we try to explain that to people. And like I can do a full merch line with no branding. Like that's not a problem. Or no logos. Your brand is kind of like how you represent yourself on your stream, your colors you use. Like if you like skulls, we can incorporate, you know, kind of generic skulls into your merch and go from there. But, you know, you know, there's a difference in having a logo properly set up versus I found this on a stock website.
Right.
So, and there's levels to it. I mean, some people, they can, you know, when they're starting off, they don't know, or they just want to get something going. And I understand that. I mean, to come to me I'm expensive, you know, but I've worked a long time to get there. So, but eventually once you're taking it seriously and getting to that next level, you should visually represent that as well.
You're paying for quality. Again, I liken that to the tattoo world. You know,
Yeah.
you're not. You go to a you know, like a franchise-esque, because they exist, chain type tattoo places.
Yeah.
Flat rate fee of $50 for whatever, some flash art off the wall. That's the quality tattoo you're going to
Right.
get. Go to a guy who's $200 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Way better.
Yeah, yeah. And two, I'm of the school of thought that like if you want something nice, you pay for it.
Pay once.
Yep.
Pay once. Be done with it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
So, trying to think if there's any other knucklehead stories.
Dude, I had this problem. I'm not going to mention the company that I bought this product from. It was a great product. It actually comes down to me being ignorant. 100%. Bought this. I'm a huge FromSoft fan.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and I saw this awesome Bloodborne hoodie. And it's sweet design. It had the Bloodborne logo on the front that was stitched in, and on the back it said Yarnum City Hunters, kind of like a varsity jacket type. And it had 2 of the weapons crossed with the Bloodborne hat. Sweet.
Yeah.
Bought it. Not realizing size differences US versus UK.
Yep.
And what I thought was my size quickly became my wife's hoodie.
Yep.
So now I'm fucked. I can't get that hoodie anymore.
Oh, no.
And she got a new one.
Yep. I think like on our site, I think it might have international sizes. I don't know. We've had questions about that before.
I wish I had asked questions. I just bought.
Yeah, we send the sizing chart over. I mean, this is like same thing with like Amazon. If you buy a pair of like, if I buy something from, Japan or Asia or something, I have to buy like 9XL pants. And I'm just like, man.
Yes, exactly. I should have gone like triple XL would have been
right.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Sizing, it's all over the place. I mean, and two, it's like we're just dealing with t-shirts. Like when you get into like women's cut pants, that the sizings are like, it's literally basically down to like the manufacturer. Like it seems like it's almost like a free for all guess. Like,
so that's probably why like yoga pants and sweatpants are more popular across websites
Probably.
than actual, because it's easier to kind of fit in between.
Well, and that's just like such a hot trend right now too. So
that's also, that's true.
And then on top of that, because everyone's been home for the last year, like that's why you see right now the biggest trends are like the hoodie and sweatpant combos, because everyone's at home. So it's more like comfortable leisure wear is really popular, and kind of bright, earthy tones versus like previously, like because there was a real kick for like the 90s for a while. And so now that's kind of transitioned into more like leisure kind of stay at home wear.
Dude, I never even thought about the color of what you're buying equates to kind of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You actually see trends in that.
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Every year there's like the color of the year. And so like a lot of people in fashion will kind of depend on that or pick that. And honestly, what it is it's like 5 guys in New York that are just like, this is popular this year. And everyone goes, okay.
Balls.
Fucking New York.
But yeah,
New
Kevin.
York. I bought more sweatpants last year than I've owned since I was like a kid. So
Juicy sweatpants.
no, not Juicy. New Balance,
Champion.
I get the jogger ones.
Adidas.
I can't do the super, the old ones or the ones that have no cuff at the bottom. Those drive me crazy.
Oh, just the open leg?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I didn't get those. Mine
I
are
have a
either
couple pairs of
joggers
those.
or just sweatpants with a cuff at the bottom. But they're comfy. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of the Old Fashioned Podcast. Corey, thank you for joining us. Why
Yeah.
don't you plug all of the things that you would like to plug before we head out?
So yeah, if you want to learn more about High Score, it's highscoretees.com. You can check out all of our stores we have. They're all for streamers that are, currently active. We've got a handful of new stores coming out in the next, every Friday, pretty much we're dumping a new store on the site. And, we'll be doing Tim and Ben's lines here soon in the very near future. Rare Drop has their store open now. And we need to figure out if we're going to put that live design that we did on the site.
You should.
Yeah. And then if you need any branding or graphic design, head over to monsterlagoon.com and you can sign up over there and get your branding done and then get ready for a merch store.
Cool. That's all she wrote. That's it. That's the end of the show. Mike, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you next week.
You too, buddy.
Yeah, we definitely don't talk. We only talk when we're on the show. So
probably going to talk 5 minutes after.
Yeah, like something like that. But thank you so much. You can check out Mike. He's at metric_methods with a Z on Twitter and see what he's up to. I'm Kevin X Vision on Twitter, and like everything I do is on raredrop.co. So just go there and do that. KingsCoastCoffee.com. And again, if you'd like to support this show and all of the other shows that we put on, you can go to patreon.com/raredrop, and you can also have access to Tim playing Hatoful Boyfriend. From last Friday before
Pigeons, fucking pigeons.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. It's just Tim is a horny pigeon. Yeah, that's all she wrote. You all have a fantastic one, and happy Valentine's Day, even though you won't hear this till after Valentine's Day, but that's where we are right now, so I'm wishing you a happy Valentine's Day from the past. Goodbye.
Mwah.